What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here on the Pro Sports Extra YouTube channel. I'm your host, Trev Stone, and welcome back to another meaningless Monday as being a Detroit Lions fan. It's finally time that I, myself, admit that I was wrong when we hired Matt Patricia. The shirt I'm wearing, it says, "In Patricia we trust." I printed off, had about 100 of these made. Haven't really sold any. Imagine that. Gave a few away to some players when we hired them. Them probably ended up in the trash because those players are no longer with the team, and most of them have came out against the coach. I admit that I was wrong. I recorded a video saying, "In Patricia we trust," 1,000 times without stopping. I was going insane. But Albert Einstein said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. That's the definition of the Detroit Lions once again under head coach Matt Patricia and GM Bob Quinn. Although I think Bob Quinn has brought in decent talent, hiring your best buddy and not firing him because of that reason means that you need to be fired as well. Now it's week 4, we're 1-3. I almost said 3-1. I don't even know how that would come off the top of my brain right now. Maybe it's because I'm getting over a cold. But it seems like the Lions can't get over this cold. Every year, same thing. Can't get over the hump. You know? Up 14-0 and blowing another lead. As a matter of fact, the Lions are the first team to lose 6 games in a row where they had the double-digit lead. 35 unanswered points last night. We scored the first 14 in the last 15, and we still managed to lose. We lost the last 12 out of 13 games under head coach Matt Patricia. Now, I remember last season us sitting back and saying, well, Matthew Stafford's not in. I'm not sure if Matthew Stafford's Matthew Stafford anymore. And that's not saying he was ever the GOAT. He was definitely impressive, and this season, nonetheless, he's eyeing down one side of the field, and we all see it. It's ridiculous. You know, he makes tough throws, but yesterday, we all seen the throws that he was making. It didn't seem like he was there. He didn't seem focused. He didn't seem like he was even awake. I remember us saying that we hated the face of Jim Caldwell on the sidelines and his clapping. Well, matter of fact, I'm getting sick of looking at Fat Patricia on the sidelines and also getting sick of looking at Matt Stafford with his same face. What happened to the Matthew Stafford that was a leader that we always saw on the sidelines and that we always heard when he was mic'd up? I feel like that Stafford's gone. I feel like Stafford became less of a leader under Bevel, and he was more of a leader under the heights of like Scott Linehan. And that's weird to say. Maybe I'm wrong. Stafford's obviously a leader. He's one of the best players we have. And I love Matthew Stafford. And I'll love the Stafford family until the day I die. I love them. They're an awesome family. Stafford's a hard worker. But after so many years in Detroit, there comes a point where Albert Einstein once again said insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Now, players gotta play, and coaches need to coach. Both sides aren't doing their job right now, and I think that's clear to Lions fans. But it most definitely starts above with the Ford family. And I'm sorry, but they're not gonna make a change to a different owner. They're not. They just handed it down to Sheila Hempford, and it's not gonna be handed to anyone else soon. So we're stuck with the Ford family. Guess what? I'm still going to cheer on Sundays. But I'm sick of looking at Matt Patricia on the sidelines and hearing about his pencil. Congratulations that you played well against Kyler Murray and you exposed that if you stop him from getting outside, you can win. You didn't expose him. We noticed that before. If you can stop Kyler Murray from escaping, you can win. He's not the greatest quarterback. Look what happened the following week. They lost again. People are saying Murray's like a MVP type quarterback. Maybe in the future. I don't think he's there yet. Matt Patricia yesterday said, certainly, I think when I came to Detroit, there was a lot of work to do, and that's what we're trying to do. Matt, I kind of had the same feeling when we hired you that we needed a change, but we weren't that bad. In 2015, we went 11-5. The Detroit Lions went 11-5. In 2016, we went 7-9, but we finished 6-2 in the last 8 games, and we just proved that we were a better team than what we were. The next year is 9-7, battling for a playoff appearance in Lambeau at the end of the season. It's better than where we are now. It's ridiculous. We have a defensive guru who can't stop anyone. And for the quarterback situation that we have, guess what? We're not going to be able to get Trevor Lawrence. And it sucks. It's just a fact. Look, there's teams that are worse than us, and if we have Matthew Stafford at quarterback, we're going to win games down the stretch. And that just brings me back to what are we going to do with Stafford? Maybe we keep him, we let a quarterback learn under him for a year next year? I don't know. He doesn't look like he wants to even be out there. Will he retire at the end of the season? I doubt it. Some people think he might. But honestly, what has been wrong with Stafford lately? Seems like we haven't been taking any chances downfield, during the game. Why are we running the ball when we're down a couple scores with a couple minutes left in the game, acting like we have all day? If we punch in one score and don't punch in the other, that's exactly what happened. We didn't have all game to sit there and run the ball in the fourth quarter. But we kept doing it under Darrell Bevell. Now, Bevell has become one of the most predictable offensive coaches in the NFL. I can sit there before plays and tell you what's going to happen. But guess what? Sometimes I feel like I can do that when our defense is on the field also, because we have slants coming overneath. But one more question about the offense that I keep forgetting to bring up. Why doesn't our offense ever use motion in front of plays? It seems like the Lions have never been able to run a successful screenplay. And you watch other teams and they have players crossing before the snap. They have players in motion. It gets the defense off their feet. We never do that. We just hit them with the actual screen. And it never seems to work. Wide receivers or running back screens, they never seem to work. Now, why don't we ever switch that up? I don't know. Maybe Darrell Bevell's stuck on his ways. If I remember right, if Matt Patricia sure threw a dug on him that he knew he was going to pass the ball on the 1 yard line in that Super Bowl game when he was the coordinator for the Seahawks. It's just sad looking at this as Lions fans and realizing it's the same damn thing all over again. Think that's a song lyric, but it's the same thing all over again. And it's the same thing because it's with Matt Patricia. And I don't know who we can bring in. But if you're to ask me what we should do, I think we should fire Matt Patricia right now. We're going into a bye week, and we should allow Brayden Coombs, our special teams coordinator, to be the head coach. Now, you're probably thinking, well, that's crazy to think special teams coordinator to head coach. Well, George Judge was hired as a special teams coordinator of the Patriots to become the Giants head coach, which, that's not obviously working out too well. But we also seen it with John Harbaugh. He went from a special teams coordinator to a head coach, and he's been successful in the league. Brayden Coombs is young, 33 years old. His father is a defensive coordinator at Ohio State, so he has that knowledge of all the sides of the ball. Brayden Coombs is young, 33. I think that's what NFL coaches are becoming, are younger. I think it's a different generation of football. I think it's more of a gunslinging league still, and I think we do need a younger coach at some point. Now, people are saying, maybe we should rehire Jim Caldwell. Now, I love Jim Caldwell, and I wanted, nothing but the best for him. I thought he was going to get picked up somewhere after we got rid of him. I don't know if he is the answer. I don't think you can hire him back and expect him and everybody to be the same. It just wouldn't. I think right now you got to fire Matt Patricia and allow Brayden Coombs, who has proven that the special teams is the only thing that's consistent with the Detroit Lions. Jack Fox won a special teams player of the month. Going into yesterday's game, we only allowed 7 yards off punt returns. I felt like we weren't giving any big kick returns. Matt Prater, is one of the best kickers in the league, so our special teams look great. We did what their job was. Our defense hasn't looked consistent. Our offense hasn't been consistent. Maybe we allow young Brayden Coombs to take over for the rest of the season. We're going into a bye. Who knows if the NFL decides to postpone a couple of weeks with the new positive tests in COVID. Maybe now's the time for a different change. Bob Quinn, I know you remember me. You looked at me a couple times. You looked at me when I was at Lambeau the first time you were ever there for the Packers-Lions game. And then last year at the Lions-Packers game when I yelled, "Hey, Bob Quinn!" And you look back, and I'm sitting there doing this with my shirt, and you're like, "Yeah!" Like that. You're all happy that someone's supporting the decision you made. Bob Quinn, I'm asking you, please, It's not in Patricia we trust anymore. It's in Patricia we bust. Now, it's time to make that change, Bob Quinn. I don't know if it'll make a huge difference, as we'll probably still have the same defensive coordinator and same offensive coordinator. But this is the same defense we've seen since Matt Patricia has taken over. It doesn't matter if it's Paul Pasqualoni, Corey Unlin, whoever's back there calling it. It's the same defense under Matt Patricia. Nothing's changed. Matt Stafford isn't looking like he should, being the vet. I don't know if anyone's going to want to trade for him, which is kind of sad because I love Stafford. I keep saying that I love Stafford, but I don't think he's the answer. But for a fact, Matt Patricia is not the answer. So now here's what I'm going to do. I've got about 100 of these t-shirts, but I ain't going to go into storage and get them right now. But it's no longer in Patricia we trust. It is now in Patricia we bust. Bob Quinn, make the change. Fire Patricia. We need a change. Lions fans are sick of this. We're all asking for it. We need him fired now. Get him out of town. Get him out of town!